Welcome back to Midlife Crisisses. I'm Tyson, one of the hosts. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. All of that stuff helps us continue to do this podcast, and we would appreciate if you would continue to do that each and every episode. We love you guys so much. We want to keep doing this, and that is one of the ways to guarantee. Nothing in life is guaranteed.
Guarantee it. Yeah,
okay, that we will keep doing this. So smash that subscribe button, that like button, that follow button, whatever buttons are there, smash them all.
And we really want to hear from you guys too. We want to hear about your midlife crises. We want to know what kind of stuff you are going through so that we can talk about it and share our insights about trying to survive this bull as well. So
let's get into it. Which one of us hates their lower back fat? Which one of us has overly big ears? And which one of us gets a bright red nose as soon as their heart starts beating? Find out on Midlife Crisisses. We're self-conscious, and we're going to let you know about it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Midlife Crisisses. We're all over here having some crises, and I'm sure you are too. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the follows, the likes, the subs. We're getting some fun questions from some of our listeners. We love getting those questions. Sometimes we feed those in, and we try to process those ourselves. We're just three dudes going through it, trying to figure it out. I'm Bradley Hasemeyer out of Atlanta, living my best life with a couple of kids. My dog is with me today. I'm a content creator and trying to figure out kind of what's next for my life, or is this my life? And that lays into some of my crises, but I'm not alone processing them. We've also got William. William, how you doing today, man?
what's up, everybody? I'm doing great. I'm William Drumm. I'm a Denver-based underwater photographer who just moved into a new house. I'm excited to be here. I'm getting ready for underwater photography trip next week to Cabo. Ooh. And I'm also turning 40 years old 1 week from tomorrow. So I am looking at everything. I'm looking around. I'm full. I wouldn't even just say midlife crisis. It's turning into full-blown existential crisis.
Wow, so existential?
I'm out here doing what I can. I'm a single dad. I've got a beautiful 5-year-old daughter who just turned 5 the other day, and just coping.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes...
Ready for some therapy from my friends Tyson and Bradley over here.
Yeah. I mean, we try to give it to you straight. I'm Tyson Apostol on TV a bunch of times, just kind of winged my way through life, found myself here, and it's not a bad place. It's a pretty good place. Yeah. But, you know, I'm in my midlife and things are changing, and I don't know how I always feel about it. I just got done dadding so hard this weekend. Rachel, my wife, is out of town still in Cabo, William. She's
in Cabo too.
She's checking it out for you.
Great.
And I had to drive both my kids to Las Vegas by myself. Totally fine. Everybody's like, dad's complaining about stuff.
You're from Arizona, so it's not
4.5, 5 hours. 5 hours. And then, but Bergen had a synchronized swimming competition, so I had to learn how to do the hair. I had to pull it back, do it in 2 braids, wrap it into a bun, cover it in gelatin so it holds underwater. Yeah. And
gelatin, eh?
Yeah, it's called Nox, unflavored. Get it if you want to do some cool photography stuff with it, William.
Yeah, William,
it'll
cement. Back that hair for some dives.
Yeah. And so I did that 3 days in a row. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she had stuff. The little one was such a trooper, my 6-year-old Marlo. She had to hang out at the pool all day, asking when we could go. And I was like, I don't know. Because these competitions, it's not like they're like, yeah, we end at 6. They're like, we end when we end, and we're going to try and keep them longer. They literally do. They literally, every single, as you're inching close to being near the end, you can just feel the organization just like, how can we cling on to people longer?
I think people who have kids in sports can relate to that tournament experience.
Yeah. And it's just like the awards. Okay, cool, the awards. And they're like, everybody's like, okay, now we can go. And they're like, we want all the competitors to pose for a giant group picture. Like, do this at the start. Stop.
Right.
Can't you see us standing around for 3 days wanting to go since the beginning?
I'm holding my bags. I'm at the exit.
Yes.
Can't you read the room?
And it was just like, whatever. But it was fun. Bergen loves it. And I am very proud of myself that I got it done, got us through it. And not even without a crisis, but I think I excelled. One of the older competitors told Bergen she had the best hair, the best, they call it Knox, the best Knox hair of everyone that she's seen at the competition.
Wow. Let's go. That's impressive. Way to go.
And you were saying earlier that you pretty much only do pigtails normally.
I only do ponytails.
Ponytails.
Yeah, that's all I can do. And they don't even like my ponytails because I do like a sloppy True Detective Matthew McConaughey ponytail, not like a cool, nice and tight.
My ex hated when I would do that.
The sloppy?
Yep.
The sloppy looks so cool.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, it looks cool. So that's where we're at. And I have a question that is probably somewhere akin to that.
Okay.
As we age, as you've aged, what are some things you've become more self-conscious of? And is that something we can fix, or are we just shifting in our self-consciousness? Because for me, I feel fine. I look fine with a shirt on. I used to go shirtless everywhere all the time because I was fucking shredded.
Right.
I was.
Well, you didn't eat anything for however long your Survivor season was. So
that's right. I didn't do that.
Choice to be shredded.
Yeah. And you are shredded after that stuff. Yeah. I'm not shredded anymore. I'm a little dumpy. I have a little, spare tire on the low underside of my belly button and around the sides. I got some love handles, and my lower back tends to collect a lot of fat. And I don't like to take my shirt off like I used to. I used to purposely. I remember summers where I would be like, I'm not going to wear a shirt. My goal is to not wear a shirt unless by law it is required. And I did that for a couple years.
Amazing.
So now I can't do that. There's just stuff like that where I am and more self-conscious. And it's mostly superficial stuff, but I also think that there's some probably mental and physical and other things like that too. But are there things that you've noticed, and how do you approach that?
Yeah, definitely. And like you're saying, is it something that you can fix or not? Well, then it's like, is it something that you can physically fix, or can you just not worry about it as much, get over it kind of thing? And I think there's both of them. For me, one thing is definitely my skin. I find that my skin gets a lot redder than it used to, especially my nose is always red, and the sun damage has just added up after years and years and years. I used to live in Australia when I was a kid, and we didn't put on enough sunscreen, and we were just getting pounded through that hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah.
So now I'm really careful about it. But I mean, if I if my heartbeat goes up at all, my face turns bright red and I look like a drunken Irishman. So definitely my face is something. And, we've talked about it quite a bit on this show, getting facials and trying to make our skin look better. But for me, that's definitely something that I'm self-conscious about. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think there really is much I can do about it except for not worry about it as much. And that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah. So you can't do anything. So you're out, your heart rate goes up, your nose is red as shit. Do you walk around with your hand in front of your face? Do you try to hide it? Do you just accept it and don't have as much confidence? What is the play?
Yeah, I can't really just walk around with my head.
I think that might draw a little more attention. People are like, what happened? Did you get hit? What's going on?
You just ignore it. So you're out, but it doesn't stop you or change your actions at all because
No, it does. I think it definitely affects my confidence for sure.
Yeah. So then how, do you try to escape the room? Do you just try to take a breather? Do you just ignore it? Because for me, I just leave a shirt on. People are at the pool. I'm yeah, I'll just take my shirt off to swim, but I'm putting a shirt on. And I claim that it's for sun.
You pull the shirt into the water and put it on so you don't even emerge out of the water.
No, I don't do that. But I definitely don't lounge all day with my shirt off like I used to. I'll swim because I'm not the dumpiest dad at the pool for sure. So I'm totally fine.
It's all relative.
For me and what I was used to, it's definitely different. So I'll swim, but then I get out and put a shirt on, and even my wife will be like, why do you have a shirt on right now? I was like, just to protect I didn't put sunscreen on. And that's a lie. It's because I am not.
Don't feel confident.
Yeah. I mean, if you forced me, I would get through it. It's not, but yeah.
I don't see you as dumpy at all, Tyson.
Yeah. And isn't there like a sliding scale? Like it's kind of like if you're a dad and you're in your 40s, you're going to look different than the 22-year-old college athlete. Like that's just the reality of.
I can't accept that.
I know, but I just think that there has to be.
Because there's a part of me that's like, if I just dug in for like 3 months of hard work, I could be fucking shredded. But I still am like, and that's where I'm at. I'm like, I just haven't put in the work to be as shredded as I.
Yeah, but then you would be like a terrible father. You'd be like, hey kids, I will not see you for 3 months because I gotta be shredded. And also I think at some point it kind of looks weird the older a guy gets. Like you see like the random guy on Instagram who's like 85 and he's shredded and you're like, this feels like AI and I know it's real life. So there's some kind of relative like sliding scale, I think. To that.
Also,
maybe that's just how I sleep at night.
Is like celebrated, you know.
I know. I do get pumped up when I see like tweets out there where it's just like a ton of super attractive people being like, I prefer body A, the dad bod, over body B, the lumpy 80-year-old. Like that's the lumpy muscles.
Those are the options.
Like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I guess I kind of get that, but I also like. For me, like it's more important what I think of myself than what others think of me.
Right.
So for me personally, like that doesn't change a whole lot. I'd be like, I'd still rather be shredded like I was when I was, 30. So, and it's fine.
But not really, because you don't really care that much.
I don't care enough to put in the hard work to do it. Correct.
Exactly.
And the incline is steeper now. The older you get, the harder it is. Like if I don't work out for like a day, I'm like, have I not worked out ever? My whole life? I look terrible.
10 days to make up for the day you miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And God forbid you get hurt or like pull a muscle in the midst of that. Like you're on injured reserve for 3 months. You're the guy with the boot trying to at the gym trying to stay somewhat fit.
Yeah.
When you're 22, you get shot in the chest and you just take a nap and you're fine. But like at 45, almost 45 for me, that's like, oh my gosh, a couple of days off. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm just a sack of potatoes. Great.
Can I complain about my body a little more?
Sure. Yeah. That's what this day is about.
I was a swimmer in college, so I had great pec muscles.
Okay.
But with great pec muscles and time comes saggy man boobs. And while they're not saggy yet, they're definitely saggier than they were, and they're pronounced. So sometimes, like, if I have too tight of a shirt on, I'm like, oh, I look like I'm growing mammaries over here. And it's like, it's just another thing. So it's like, I would like to shrink my mammaries a little bit and shrink my belly fat, but also get shredded.
Your back fat.
And my lower back fat. I'm touching it right now.
I hope people listening are getting a real clear picture here.
I thought about taking my shirt off for this one.
Imagine if they've never seen Tyson before and they're listening and just thinking about what he looks like.
They would not look at you and be like, that's the guy that we were talking about.
But here's the thing. With the perfect fitting shirt, I still look fucking great.
Yeah.
And all like how I used to look at myself in the mirror shirtless. If I have the perfect shirt on, I'll still look at myself like that in the mirror where I'm like, oh, I've got it all going on. This thing, it hides all the shit I hate.
So it's really just a wardrobe thing.
Yeah.
Just a wardrobe problem.
Now it is, because I can't go shirtless unless I somehow figured out how to get shredded. But a shirt will. But even still, I'm like, I'm a fraud. I know what I'm hiding under that thing.
You know what? You just need one more season of a like scare you reality show that just. There's no food for 3 months and you're making money and you're probably going to crush it because you're still there.
You come back
mentally,
worse.
You'll be off.
No, not mentally, because you come back and you pig out and you forgive yourself for eating whatever you want for way too long.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you're like even now there'll be days where like I'll go to and this is just an exaggeration. You know, you go to the donut shop. You're like, oh, there's a donut shop. I'll just get half a dozen. I deserve it because I played Survivor 9 years ago. And then you just like eat all 6 of them. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, yeah, no, there was a time I starved myself. So I guess I should eat this extra large pizza by myself. I don't see why not.
The justification of a male brain to get anything done is pretty impressive. I love that. That's some real lawyer shit in your head. That's like, Your Honor, my client deserves these 6 donuts because 9 years ago, he chose not to eat those donuts.
He was forced to not eat them. He didn't choose. He had no choice. Yeah. So I don't know. Bradley, tell us what you hate most about yourself.
Thank you.
But didn't when you were younger.
Good lead. You know, it's actually, there's there's 2 sides to this. One, when I was a kid, my hands and ears, I was so self-conscious of because basically I came out of the womb with man hands and ears that are adult size. So I had to grow into my body in that way.
I don't know about the ears, but those big hands could be an advantage for a lot of sports.
And they were. I played football. I played baseball. I was a catcher. I didn't even use a glove. It was great.
He was an excellent sculptor. He made a lot of good clay.
Wow.
Amazing.
Molding. Probably masseuse. Were you the first child masseuse?
Yeah.
Not the first.
I'm the Doogie Howser of the masseuse world. Welcome 7-year-old Bradley over to the table. Got to step up on stairs. I'm not quite tall enough, but from here, I'll give you a massage.
I can imagine big hands, though, as a kid for playing football when everybody else is like, I can't throw a football because I can't hold it properly.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't.
No, I could palm that and for days. I wasn't as quick, but I had some moves.
Could you palm the basketball?
Yep. I could palm a basketball.
Dope. Can you still palm a basketball?
I can sort of palm a basketball now. It's weird because my hands are the same size, but I think it's like a certain strength between your like pinky and thumb to be able to like get fully around it.
So can I ask you, this is delving off a little bit. So could you pump it at somebody like a Michael Jordan fake type thing?
No,
you could just palm it and hold-ish it.
Yeah, I could hold it like this.
Yeah.
I could hold it in front of me.
Okay.
I could do the Michael Jordan, the wing
with both
poster.
hands.
With both hands.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Okay.
But if I went like this, it would slip out.
I don't want to toot my own hand. Own horn or own hand. So I could palm it enough to dunk it with one hand, but that's it. Like if with the motion of dunking, I could get it.
Yeah,
but if I
basically control it enough,
I could control it enough to put a good, hard, solid, one-handed dunk down.
Yeah,
but I couldn't hold it out and palm it. So you were
I didn't have the ups to dunk it. Yeah. I was using the stairs from my 7-year-old massage table. Trying to get a little higher.
Whatever tools you need, use.
That's right. But I was so self-conscious of those, and one of the most embarrassing moments of my life was in high school, my freshman year. And I was doing a presentation, and you always have to have your visual aid. Back in the day, it was like, so in conclusion, whatever. So I'm holding up this poster, and I turn back to the class. So in conclusion, and the English teacher says, "Stop." And I was like, "Oh crap! Like, did I forget something? Like my thesis or whatever?" And she's like, "Put your hands back up on the board." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Class, aren't those the biggest hands you've ever seen?" I mean, it was something out of like a nightmare. And I was like, And then, do you remember the TI-85 calculator? This is like the calculator.
Definitely.
Yes.
And there were posters in math rooms, and we were in a math room, and she was like, "That could be your calculator." And I was like, And then she's like, "Okay, let's break for lunch," because we had lunch in the middle of the class. So then it was like everyone was just coming off of this, like, you're a freshman, you don't want attention. So it's easier to be like, that guy's getting attention.
Pile on.
So then I go to lunch and I just sit at a table as everyone comes up and is like, "I want to put my hand." "Oh my gosh!" Put your hand on the table. "Oh my! Hey everybody, come over here. Check this out." And I was just like, ha ha ha. I didn't even know any different to just be, but it was like that was really terrible.
Dude, your teacher was so attracted to you. That's what you don't know is that your teacher
hilarious.
You look at almost were in a headline. Yeah, you were almost in a headline.
130 pounds, crushing it freshman year.
Almost in a headline.
Exactly. So that was tough. And my ears were big and people called me Dumbo, and it was like a whole thing on the bus and stuff like that. So I was always like really conscious of those things. And now, no, because I'm an adult and I'm, I've A, lived with it my whole life, and B, actually grown into these. Yeah. But then, I think my hair, when I was 30, I think I told this on here. Yeah. I just turned 30 and my doctor was like, "We need to talk." And he closed the door and I was like, "Oh, this is cancer. This is it." And he's like,
"I've seen this on movies. This is what happens.
Your hairline is receding." And I was like, oh my gosh, that was bad. This is LA. So of course that's what the doctor
Did
is
that
like.
make you feel worse about it when that happened? Or
I didn't know what to think. I was like,
should I feel worse the way the
right.
somberness of the tone?
Right. You're comparing it in your tone to cancer. Is this career ending? Is this what we're talking about? And so instantly was like on Propecia, which was not good for me. And it's like made me groggy and all this kind of stuff. So then like Rogaine and all that kind of stuff. And now I use Hims. So there's a part of me that's like always kind of checking like my hairline or like how's my hair doing or whatever. So there is kind of like something around there that I'm conscious of. I think, yeah, you know, my body like working out and stuff. There's a part of me that's like, like you said, I just don't want to be on the bottom rung at the pool. If I'm on the top rung, it looks a little weird. To me, it feels like that guy is like screaming for attention because it takes so much energy and time to get to that place. If you're not in a competition or you're not like, I don't know, doing something with that amount of energy, I feel like something else in your life is amiss. So I just kind of want to be in that middle.
Guys, I think the top rung guys, it's the air that they put on. If I were a top rung guy, I'd still play it cool. But those top rung guys are like in stupid long board shorts and they're like standing at the stairs, like trying to puff their chest up. I would never do that. I just would like lounge on the chair. So I think that it's also their energy is
maybe it's the energy. Yeah, maybe it's the energy.
Top rung energy for older dudes is bullshit. But I think you can be top rung physique without top rung energy.
The underdog. That to me is like the comfortable spot. Like even when we talk about cars that I love, some of my favorite cars are like what you call a sleeper. You wouldn't even know that it's got a big engine or that it drives fast. It just looks like a station wagon or it looks like, you know, just a regular SUV or whatever. Yeah. I want to be the underdog. I like that because it's comfortable. I can excel beyond expectations. I also want to set, you know, an example for my kids to be like, yeah, it's important to take care of yourself, whatever.
Totally.
But I also, I can't be the guy that is, you know, 80 hours in the gym 2 times a month. You know, I am self-conscious sometimes too when I see movies with a guy who's around my age and I'm like, damn it. So I'm instantly like, what was his workout routine? And usually it's like he had this nutritionist and he had this professional, you know, this trainer, and he was working out twice a day for 3 months and he was getting paid obviously for it because the studio is paying him for this. So I'm like, oh, okay. He didn't have to take out the trash and all these other things that life throws at you and take your kids to school and whatever. So
part of his regimen was not taking out the trash.
Yeah, exactly. Don't lift. You can hurt yourself. Save it for the weight room. It's too heavy. There's cans in there. Yeah. So I think generally my self-consciousness would come out of that. I'm not self-conscious about like my job. I was a little bit self-conscious of that a couple years ago when we left Virginia and moved to Atlanta, and I was looking for a place to live, and I was just like, oh, I guess this is the place. I'm going to go look at this place, and it was like a basement, and it was like, you know, a couple of rooms, and we thought, oh, this is kind of cool. It's in a cool part of Atlanta. We could roll with this. And the guy who opens the door, I played baseball with in 7th grade. And he's like, oh yeah, I own this house and I own the basement. Would you like to rent from me? And I was like, hell no. You know, it's like, what is wrong with my life? I don't own anything. I don't own a car. My cell phone I rent every month. And now this guy is like, hey, I own this and want to rent from me. I was like, no, I don't.
Why didn't you make up a story? Like, I'm actually looking at buying all of these houses for my company and we're going to tear them down and put
I wish I had thought of that. That's like when someone like flips you off and you're like, oh, I should have said that thing.
Yes.
I should have. But in the moment, I was just like, I don't know if you can read my face, but I feel like a pile of shit right now. Yeah. And then on the way back, of course, I'm driving through this really high end part of Atlanta and it's like Bentley, Rolls, you know, like mansion. And I'm like, I can't even buy anything. You know, it's like there was definitely a crisis of I'm 40 years old. What is going on with my life? My friends have multiple homes. I have nothing to show for it. So I feel that. Yeah. William's like, were you reading my journals?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my self-conscious is a little bit there too, I think.
Yeah. I've never been materialistically self-conscious, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I should get both my cars are over 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should get a nice professional looking car. But then I'm like, for what? For what purpose? I'd rather, and it's easier, and this is justification that you can all use. The book, The Millionaire Next Door, talks about how the majority of millionaires drive like Hyundais and live in like little 3-bedroom, 2-bathrooms units and all this and that. And I was like, I'd rather people look at me and be like, he's probably a multi-millionaire the way he's living so modestly. Like he
won't even take his shirt off. Clearly he's rich.
He's the guy that you never would suspect. And then you can like, that's the new model for how to flaunt shit.
The new flex.
To drive hunks of shit like you don't give a damn. And then everybody's like, that guy has to be raking it in because his car sucks.
There's no reason for him to be
so bad, and he's so confident about it and doesn't give a shit.
That's
and
great.
His house sucks. All of it. This guy, he's probably got more money than anybody else in town.
Yeah,
and that's how I justify all of those things. And then I look at somebody like with a Bentley, and I'm like, that was probably their last dime they spent on that car for me to look at them and think they're cool. But in all actuality, they probably spent their last little bit of chunk of change on that, or are stretched thin just trying to make those payments.
William, you like rap. Do you remember Juvenile and the Hot Boys?
Oh, yeah.
And who was it? Who was Birdman? He had a line that said, I got a quarter tank of gas in my new E-Class. It's like, spent all the money on the car, but barely can drive it. You got nothing in it.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
That's it.
I'm definitely, it's weird for me, like with the house stuff right now, because like, I bought 3 houses. Every house was nicer. And then I lost all of it in the divorce. Now I'm renting. And like you said, like I've got a friend who's talking about buying a second house. She's like, oh, I just want to get a house for my daughter so she has one. And I'm like, but also from moving so much and from traveling so much, like part of me thinks it might anywhere, you don't have to own it for it to be a nice place. So now I'm trying to justify things to myself like, well, I stayed in a really nice place in the mountains. I didn't own it. I stayed in this place and I didn't own it.
Right.
And also it's just so weird now with the economy and the financial, like
interest
the rates
rates
on interest rates. And there's so many houses for sale in this neighborhood. Nobody could sell them. So yeah, I do want to buy a house again, but also there's a lot of nice places to live out there and you don't have to own them. So I'm just trying to say that so that I am not sad about losing all of my houses.
Yeah. And you'll see headlines that are just like, Elon Musk doesn't own a house. He rents everywhere he goes.
Right,
and you're like, oh, and then like, is the new American dream actually to rent? And I'm like, is that to make people, is that the same as like money doesn't buy happiness, where it's just to like keep the impoverished happy enough that they don't throw a coup? Like that's what money doesn't buy happiness saying is just like rich people telling poor people that even though we have all this stuff,
you guys wouldn't want it. You don't want that.
It's not gonna. You're not
Legos.
You're not gonna feel any happier or less happy with. In fact, sometimes it can ruin your life. You're like, oh, dang, maybe I don't want to. Okay, no,
money's terrible if you don't have it. You don't have it. You don't want this. You don't.
You don't need this. It's a curse.
No, I'm certainly of the mind that like a house is just a place. I mean, this is our first house.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if we'd ever own a house because we were in LA, we were in Brooklyn, we were in Phoenix, but just for a few years. So there was like, I was like, I don't know, man, I guess I'll just rent forever. And then finally something popped up. But yeah, there's certainly, pros and cons to that. So I think of all the worries, I think that one, even for my own sake, I've talked myself down from is like, it doesn't mean anything really.
Really, at this point, though, I'm trying to get stability for my daughter, and I've desired stability more than I ever have before.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, am I going to have to move out of this place again in a year because I'm renting? Like, are they going to try to sell it, and I can't? Hopefully, if they do that, I'll be able to buy it at that point.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just trying to get that stability built up for my daughter, and with us moving into an apartment last year, and then moving here, and then her mom living in an apartment, and I just see it in her that like she needs it, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can do it any way I can. So that's the biggest thing, is why I wish that I still own, or that I own this house, is because I don't want to keep moving around for Rowan. And yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out either way. And even if that's like, even if we move every year for the rest of her life, I'm sure that we'll be able to figure it out. But yeah, I want her to be in a stable place and be able to settle down more.
I mean,
I think the key in that too is you're the stability.
True.
Because, like ultimately, like Ellis has moved around a ton. She was born in LA. She lived in Phoenix, Brooklyn, Virginia, here. And, there's certain parts of me that are like, man, that's a real bummer because she can't really put down roots. But what is stable in that is us. And like we're the roots,
Totally.
And so that just looks a little bit different. But I think you just being even thinking that way toward her already shows like your deep stability toward her. That's what you can't really reflect on. Somebody may be like, I lived in a house my whole life. My parents were terrible. Like, thankfully, I lived in one house.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this town because all the memories are horrible for me.
Yeah, exactly. So
also, when I was a kid, like we lived in Australia, like I was saying earlier, we moved to Melbourne and we lived in like 3 different houses or maybe 4 or 5 different houses in 3 years. Like we moved around a ton, and I don't have any negative memories of moving around or anything. All my memories of Australia are awesome.
Yeah.
So kids definitely look at everything very differently than.
Yeah. Moving can be very exciting for them. And even if it's scary, a lot of times there's that level of excitement anyways. Whereas an adult, when you move, you're like, I got to move.
Fuck my life, fuck my life, fuck my life.
Exactly. The worst thing that could possibly happen right now is me having to move everything and then unpack everything and then do it. Like every time I've moved, I've just been like, this is the worst thing I've ever done. Ever.
Right. Never again. This is
never.
It. Never again.
I will never do it again. And then you do it again and you're like, oh no, here it comes.
But
and the kids
time.
are just like, cha-ching, yes, new adventure, new.
That's where I'm
rooms.
at right now. Because like it was a really easy move. I hired people but now I've got all these fucking boxes and I don't know where things are. And I'm traveling in a week. So I like don't want to work on unpacking everything, but I also have to find these things for travel and.
Yeah. And Rowan's not thinking about any of that. She's just like, new house, new yard, fun place, adventure.
Yeah. And she got away from the fire alarms. She's so excited to be away from the fire alarms. The other day we were going to bed in our new house and she's like, Daddy, are there fire alarms in this house? And I'm like, yeah, every house has fire alarms, but there's no fire drills. And she's like, Daddy, will you show me the fire alarm? And like made me take the fire alarm off of the wall and show her how to test it and everything else. So like those fire drills in our apartments fucking messed with her head. Yeah. So I am very excited to not have that anymore.
I think it's also a reminder that our perception of our self-consciousness is much smaller on the outside. We expect all these people think this way toward us,
100%,
or see us that way. I mean, even Tyson with you, like neither of us would say like, oh yeah, there's Dumpy back, and
you might if you inspect me a little closer.
Well, next time we'll poke and prod next
but
time. But
nobody's inspecting you closer.
In Banff next time we're there. But I think that's just like a reminder to go easy on yourself. I think that's something midlife teaches you too, is kind of like, A, it is what it is. And, but B, it's like, you now have the wisdom to remember that not everyone's talking about you. Those people whispering over there are not talking about you. They're whispering about something else. Or like you walk into school and there's
fire
coffee
alarm.
maker.
Oh, I was like, fire drill, bro.
The coffee maker gets her too, though.
Hilarious.
Oh, no.
We were all on board. What a moment. That's hilarious.
Well, I think I said it before too. People don't give a shit about you. That's the thing that none of us really understand, is that people don't give a shit about you. Everybody only cares about themselves. Yeah. So it's like we feel this way about ourselves, and it makes us not confident. But other people aren't looking at us like that. They're just not concerned. They're just concerned about themselves,
including our
vast majority of the time,
or the people at the pool, or employers, or whatever.
I mean, most of that's true, but I've been on TV before. This is not a brag right here. And I've had people come up and be like, you look older than I thought you would. And I was like, God damn it.
Fucking
I am old. I was like, I was on, the show you watched was literally filmed 17 years ago. I am 45 now.
Dude, it was that long
28.
ago? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
time.
No
so
doubt.
I know, right? So I was like, if you're complaining about how old I look, I know you watched one of the earlier seasons I was on, and I agree, I looked much better back then. And I'm sorry. I'm old now. Like, I don't know.
Everything was better. Interest rates were better. Like, of course I looked better. Oh, man.
So, but yeah, in general, I agree. People don't give a shit. And also, I don't look at people and think, oh, dumpy back guy.
Yeah.
I never do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am more
looking at
critical.
yourself.
I'm more critical of myself. And I notice every small little blemish and little detail of age and of flabbiness and of sloppiness and any imperfection. I notice it all for myself. And I think you just have to you have to get past that somehow.
We got to start going easier on ourselves.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. How to
get past it?
Yeah.
No, obviously not, or else you wouldn't be so upset about it and bummed out about it, and I would not be thinking about my red schnoz when I'm fucking hanging out at the pool.
No, but my life is still pretty great. And your red schnoz is not your primary focus of your life. My dumpy body is not my primary focus of our lives. And so I think we are learning, or we're dealing with it. And it's like, as you age, I think one thing that we all are doing, and is evident in this podcast, is we're able to not only talk about it, but also laugh about it and joke about it. And I think that that's one of the beauties of getting older, is being able to be self-deprecating in a humorous and fun way that is like true, sure, but also like whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that, I think if we could get a picture of Bradley with his hands and his hairline, you with your red schnoz and my lower back, I think that would be like the perfect.
That'd
the perfect banner for our Facebook page.
Exactly. That's the new thumbnail. So good.
So
it's red nose, back fat, and big ears. Hey, welcome back. Oh, so good.
Anything else before we shut this thing down?
I mean, if people don't understand from that alone, then I think there's no telling. There's no telling.
Well, we're all going through it, everybody. Don't be too hard on yourselves.
Yeah.
You know, make sure that
tell us what you hate the most about yourself. We'd love to hear.
Yes. Please tell us in the comments.
No pictures. We don't really want those pictures.
We don't want the pictures.
Use your words.
Yes. Use your words to tell us and describe to us the thing you hate most about yourselves as you age. Not the stuff that has plagued you your whole life, but the stuff that now that you're in your midlife or past midlife that really bothers you about yourself. Let us know.
Yes. All right.
Is that it?
That's it. I got some self-care to work on.
Yeah, I have to
I'm going to the fucking gym. Gonna go get another facial.
I have to meditate just to come down from this so I can go outside later.
Totally.
Okay. See you guys.
Thanks everybody.
For listening, everybody.
Bye.